So I'm going to start the recording, and we're going to start off with our warm-up like we typically do. There's only 3 questions on this one, so I'm not going to give you guys as long. Okay. So 3 questions here. We're doing a conversion, so we're converting 66% to a simplified fraction. Number 2, you're going to do 3/5 divided by 1/4. And number 3, finding the greatest common factor of 48 and 52. So I'm going to give you guys about 5 or 6 minutes, so go ahead and work on those ones. Thank you. Maybe working on that warm-up. We'll give you guys a few more minutes. Okay, about 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. All right, let's go ahead and review these ones. So, let me stop presenting. You guys see the whiteboard behind me pretty well if you're online?
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, and you guys are all good? Okay, so let's start with number one. We're taking 66% and changing it into a simplified fraction. So we need to take a percent and go to a fraction. What do I do? Good. So the first thing you do is get rid of the percent sign. It becomes 66, and then you just put your number over 100. 66 over 100.
And now
So
you
we're
simplify.
completely done. What's the last step I need to do here?
Simplify.
Good. We got to simplify. What number goes into 66 and 100?
4. I think 4 can. 4 and 14, right?
I don't think 4 can. You said 4 times 14? That's 56, not 66. So 4 won't go into 66, but 2 does. I heard 2 a lot. Okay, so what is 66 divided by 2? 33. And 100 divided by 2? 50. Can I simplify any more than this? No. No. There's no number that goes into 33 that will also go into 50. So our final answer here is 33 over 50. 33 fiftieths. Okay? Our next one, number 2. We're dividing these two fractions. They're already in fraction form. We don't need to make anything improper or anything like that. We just got to divide. What are the 3 letters we need to remember when we're dividing? I heard it a lot. KCF. Keep.
Or KSF. Keep, switch, flip.
Yeah.
It's the
So
same
we're
thing.
going to keep our first fraction 3/5 the same. What do I change division to?
Multiply.
Multiply. And 1/4 flips to become?
4 over 1.
Good. And then once we get to this point, we just multiply straight across for our fractions, right? What's 3 times 4?
12.
12 and 5 times 1? Good. So we have 12/5. But I'm not done. We need to simplify. In order to simplify this, when the number is bigger on top, what do? Divide. 12 in the hat divided by 5. How many times is 5 going to 12?
2 times.
2 times. You subtract the 10 and get 2. So now I have these 2, 5, and 2. How does this become a mixed number? You guys remember?
Isn't it 5 becomes the numerator?
Close. So we have our number on top is our whole number because it goes in twice. The remainder, what's left over, is our numerator on top because it's the leftover part. And the 5 is what we divided by, so it goes on the bottom. So 2 and 2/5 is our final answer. Okay? Did we do okay on that one?
Yep.
I saw a lot of you guys with this answer, at least in here. I saw a lot of you guys with the improper fraction, so just remember to change it to the mixed number and we're good. Okay, and our last one, GCF. First thing we need to do is do our factor trees for both. So what numbers multiply to 48? 6 and 8. 6 times 8. Are either of them prime? No, they're not prime numbers. So we need to see what goes into 6 now.
32.
3 and 2, are they prime?
Both of them.
Oh, so we can circle both. What about 8? What multiplies to 8?
4 2.
2 and 4. What about what goes into 4? 2 and 2. All right, so there's our factor tree for the first one. What about 52? What numbers multiply to 52? 26 times 2. Anything else? 4 and 13. So my favorite thing about 52 is it's a deck of cards. There's 52 cards in the deck, and there's 4 suits in the deck of cards, and there's 13 in each suit. Anyway, we'll do 4 and 13, because it doesn't matter which one we do, right? It comes out the same. Are either of these prime?
Both of them, the 13 is
Yeah, 13 is, but we know 4 is not. What multiplies to 4?
2 and 2.
2 and 2. Perfect. So now we need to do our LCM and GCF. LCM goes on top always. GCF on the bottom. I'm going to put this one, the 48, on top because it just has more. So we have a 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay? So we've used all of these. Now we need to do our matching. Is there a 2 to match?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a 2 to match. What about another 2?
Yes.
What about a 13?
No.
No. So where do I put it?
On top.
Good. So now I have all these random numbers. What do I do with them? Multiply them. Good. Multiply. Okay, but we only need the GCF. So what is 2 times 2?
4.
4.
What would the top be? What would the top be?
I don't know what the top would be. A big number.
16.
I got it.
It'd be 48 times 13.
Yeah, that would be a lot. I don't know what that is.
I'll look it up real quick.
Okay. All right. So that's our warm up for the day.
624.
That's the LCM.
Yeah.
All right. Big number.
Very big number.
What was it? 600?
24.
624. All right. All right. So there's our warm up. I can't see your board.
Miss Jones, I'm gonna see what the whiteboard does real quick.
I don't know if it does it on your screen or mine. Oh well. So on Google Classroom. Oh, it makes like a whole whiteboard. Interesting. For math, an assignment just posted. It's really notes though. So everybody's gonna need to go and open this under math. It's called adding and subtracting integers notes. It opens up as a Google slide. So you'll click on it and it opens up to look like this. Okay. You want to leave it in this, like in this view. We're gonna type on the thing. You guys all have your own copy. You're gonna type into it. So you don't need to do the presentation view because you can't type if you present it.
Are we
So-
supposed to have 2 assignments or is it just 1?
Right now you have 1, and then later the other 2 things that you're gonna do we'll post after we've talked a little bit about it. Yeah, you can write the date down. I'm just gonna sit because I don't want to stand the whole time. I don't need to. So let's go and put the date in. I'm gonna give you guys about another 2 minutes to. Why can't I click on it? It won't let me click. You might have to add a text box there. You don't get what? There's probably not a text box where the date is.
I don't think I can
No,
make it.
no,
I don't think I can make a text box.
You would go to insert text box. And then you can make one right there if you want to. And the date is 10-13. Oh, it's so small. Okay, but you don't have to write the date. It doesn't matter. And Charlie just said that if you look at the slides, it tells us the answers. It does for the first couple of slides because it's showing us the process of how to do it. But after that, there's some places to practice where it does not tell you the answers. So our first slide here just tells us our title, adding and subtracting integers. The second slide, slide number 2, follow along with me, please. Stay on slide number 2. We're going to talk about adding integers with the same sign. Now, when I say sign, what do I mean? Do I mean like I'm a Gemini, she's a Sagittarius? Is that what I mean? No. It's astrology. What do I mean when I say the same sign?
Like multiplication, addition kind of thing.
Non-multiplication, yeah, no, it's not going to be like, so
Yeah, I just
multiplication,
mean like an add, like a math sign.
yeah, so you're on the right track. So what you were saying, Dallin, to add, subtract, multiply, and divide are operations. So they're the operations that we can perform. When we talk about the same signs, we mean the negatives and the positives. Okay? So if two numbers are both negative, they have the same sign. If two numbers are both positive, which means they don't have anything, it would look like regular adding and subtracting, then they're the same sign. So same sign means that both numbers are negative, both numbers are positive. Okay? Now, when we add integers, which remember are just whole numbers, whether or not they're negative or positive, they're just whole numbers. We're only working with whole numbers right now. When we add integers that have the same sign, the process that you're going to do is right here. When adding numbers with the same sign, add the numbers and keep the sign. So basically, you just add the two numbers together, and if they're both negative, you just write a negative in front of them. If they're both positive, you just leave it positive. You don't have to put anything.
That's pretty easy. Like for the
This part is the easiest one. Adding them with the same sign is the easiest. It definitely is
what
harder.
does the parentheses mean?
The parentheses right here are showing you that it's a negative 30, not subtracting 30. So you're adding together two negatives instead of a negative 12 minus 30. That would give you a different answer.
Yeah.
So the parentheses around the negative are showing you that that's a negative number. Okay, so if we look at our examples here, we have -2 plus -8. The process says that you just add the two numbers. So what's 2 plus 8? 10. And then you keep the same sign. They were both negative, so the negative just transfers over.
Miss Jones,
Yep.
did you know 1 is colder than 0 degrees? 1 degree.
-1 is.
No, just 1 degrees is colder than 0 degrees is what I thought it was.
No, it would be the opposite. 1 degree is hotter than 0.
I don't know where I heard.
I don't know. Our next example here, the blue one. These are both positive. For some reason, I find that when we do this and we start throwing in the negatives, that a question like this really throws people off. But you're just adding like normal in these ones. Both of these are positive numbers. All you need to do is add them together, and it's just going to stay positive. So all you would do in this case would be 12 plus 15, which we know is 27. Because all the other rules that come into play, sometimes it confuses. I don't know. Just keep in mind that if both numbers are positive, add or subtract them the same way that you have before, okay? We're going to talk about a positive and a negative soon. Our next one, our last example here is a -12 plus a -30. So our first step is to add our two numbers. What's 12 plus 30? 42. And then we just bring the negative over and it stays negative. So a -42. Yep. All right. So that's the process for adding integers if they have the same sign. They're both negative or they're both positive. Now let's look at slide number 3, because this one's a bit different. What? I don't know what's happening. Oh, well, what it means is like if you're presenting it, then you would go to the next page. So it's just slide number 3. That's the next page. So slide number 3 talks about adding integers with different signs. So that means that you have one positive number and one negative number. Okay. This is one that gets a bit tricky. So basically just follow the steps and take your time on these ones because they can get a bit tricky. This one says that when you're adding numbers with different signs, so a positive and a negative, you're going to ignore the signs. So just act like they're not there. And you're going to take the numbers and subtract them. You're going to take the bigger number that you have and subtract the smaller one. And then you're going to figure out what sign it is, whether it's positive or negative, you're going to take the sign of the bigger number. So if we look at our first example here, -2 plus 8 equals 6. We have a -2 and an 8, different signs. In this case, you're just going to ignore the signs. So act like that 2 is positive. Just ignore the signs. You're going to take your bigger number, which we know that 8 is bigger than 2, correct? Am I wrong? No, 8 is bigger than 2. So you're going to take your 8 first, subtract the 2, and that's going to equal 6, right? Now, you look at your two numbers. 8 is bigger than 2. So we're going to take the sign of the 8, which means if it's positive, we're going to keep our answer positive, which is why this is a positive 6. If it was negative, it would have been a negative 6. Okay, so that's our first example. Our next one, this time we have 12 plus -15. That one's going to equal -3. So in this case, ignore the signs again. You just have a 12 and a 15. Take the 15 because it's bigger. That's your first number. 15 minus 12 because it's smaller, and you get 3. All right, but how did this end up as a -3 as our answer? Why would it be negative? Yep. So we take the sign of the greater number. 15 is greater than 12, so this is going to be a negative number. -3. Okay? So that's adding integers when it's a different sign. All right. Let's see. The next one is subtracting, but I think what we're going to do is stick with adding today. So we'll talk about the adding. The assignments we're going to do are adding. We're going to do some practice all together with adding. And then tomorrow we'll talk about subtracting, because subtracting is a whole nother ball game. So I want to practice with adding first. So instead of looking at slide number 4 where it says subtracting, we're going to skip that and go straight to slide number 5. There are 6 problems here that we're going to do. We'll do 3 together, and you'll do 3 on your own. Okay? This one is adding integers with the same sign. And if you don't remember how to do this, where can you look right now? Where can, what? Like on your thing. So like on your own PowerPoint, where could you look if you don't remember how to do it? Which slide? Slide number 2. Slide number 2 talks about adding integers with the same sign. When we add them with the same sign, what do we do? Good. You just add the numbers, and whatever sign it is, you just keep it the same. So, our first one, we have 12 plus 7. What is 12 plus 7?
18.
Not 18. One more. 19. Now, are the 12 and the 7 positive or negative? Positive, right? There's no negative in front of the numbers, so they're positive, which means our 19 is positive. Okay. Let's look at number 2. This time we have -12 plus -7. Again, we need to add the numbers first. What is 12 plus 7? 19.
19.
Now, are these numbers negative or positive?
Negative.
Negative. So we just put a negative in front of it. So our answer is -19 in this case.
I already did them all.
Good. I'm going to do one more with you guys right here. 15 plus 20. What is 15 plus 20?
35.
35. And are these numbers negative or positive?
None of them are.
positive, right? So this stays as a positive 35. Now take
What if,
about,
what if
go
you
ahead.
had a number where it's -3 and then plus another whole number like this without a minus on it?
So like -3 plus 8.
Yeah.
That's adding with different signs. So the one where you, if you look at slide number 3, you use that process instead. Okay, we're gonna do that on the next slide too. Okay, so go ahead and do 4, 5, and 6 on your own right now, really quick. Take about 2 minutes. Alrighty. So let's look at number 4. We have -8 plus -14. First thing we need to do is add together 8 and 14. What is 8 plus 14? 22. Now, are these numbers negative or positive? Negative. So we just need to put a negative sign in front of it. And if you don't know what the negative sign is, it's the little dash. So if you're up over by the backspace, it's next to the plus and the equals, just the dash to make it negative. Okay, number 5. We have 114 plus 70. These are both positive numbers, so we just need to add. What is 114 plus 70?
185.
Close, 184.
What?
Yeah. And our last one, 2 negative numbers. We need to add together the numbers first. What's 120 plus 185?
305.
305.
305?
Yep, 305. And is it negative or positive?
Negative.
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 And we're done.
Oh.
Good. So those ones are just adding and keeping the same sign. All right. Now, let's look at our next slide. Slide number 6. This one has the different signs. So this time, we need to be a little bit more careful with how we do it, right? We have -15 plus 9. The process that you need to take with this one is to just ignore the signs first. You're going to take the greater number. Which number is bigger, 15 or 9?
15.
15. So you're going to take 15 and subtract
15.
the smaller number, which is 9. Okay? What is 15 minus 9? 6. Now, we need to figure out if this is a negative or a positive 6. How do I do that? Good. You look at the number that was bigger. So the 15 was bigger. And is the 15 negative or positive?
Negative.
Negative. So your answer will be negative. So our answer here is -6. Okay. Let's look at our next one. Number 2, 15 plus -9. Again, ignore the signs. Is 15 or 9 bigger?
15.
15 is bigger, so that goes first. We're going to subtract the smaller number, which is 9. And again, 15 minus 9 is
6.
6. Good. Now we need to look at our two numbers. 15 was the bigger one. 15 is greater than 9. Is 15 negative or positive?
Neither.
Well, because it doesn't have a sign, it must be
Positive.
positive. Yep, so it's a positive 15, which means our answer is going to stay a positive 6.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's do one more together. Which one do you guys want to do together? 3, 4, 5, or 6?
6.
Number 6? All right, let's do 6 together. So I'm going to write underneath it. Okay, we need to take the bigger number. Is 190 bigger or 145?
190.
Good. 190 is bigger. Good. And then we
190.
need to subtract the smaller number, which is 145. What is 190 minus 145?
335.
Well, we're subtracting, not adding.
45.
Good, it's 45. And then we need to decide if our 45 is positive or negative. So we look at our 190. Was 190 positive?
Do we write out the book?
It's helpful if you do. I like to write it all out. Is 190 positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. So it means our answer
Positive.
is positive.
45 is.
Good. All right. So go ahead and take, let's say, 4 minutes to work on these 3 problems. So decide which one is bigger, do the subtraction, and then decide if it's negative or positive after. Good. Did you do number 3?
I'm
All right,
done.
we're going to wait about 2 more minutes to let people finish up as well. And then we'll review. If you're done, just sit tight. Alrighty, let's go ahead and look at these ones. Number 3 here, we have negative 17 plus 29. So first thing we need to do is decide if, well, ignore the signs. Which one's greater, 17 or 29?
29.
29, good. We're going to subtract the other one, 17. What is 29 minus 17? So subtracting. 29 minus 17. 12. There we go. Okay, 29 minus 17 is 12, and now we need to decide, is it negative or positive?
Positive.
Positive. Why?
Because 29 is bigger
Negative.
and I don't have the symbol.
Good. So when you look at our two numbers here, negative 17 and 29, 29 is greater than 17. So we're going to use the 29. If it's positive, then your 12 stays positive. So in this case, it's a positive 12. Okay. And keep in mind that if there's no sign at all, like if it doesn't have a negative in front of it, it's a positive number, basically. Okay. Let's look at our next one. Number 4, we have 6 plus negative 19. Ignore the signs. Is 6 or 19 bigger? 19. We're going to subtract the other number, which is 6. What is 19 minus 6? 13. Good.
13.
So now, good. We need to decide if it's negative or positive. So we know that 19 is our bigger
Negative
number.
13.
Is 19 negative or positive? Negative. Because the
Negative.
negative, yeah, because the 19 is negative, that makes our answer negative. Negative 13 on that one. Okay. And then our last one, number 5, we have negative 155 plus 74. So we're going to ignore the signs. We have 155 and 74. Which one is greater? 155. Then we need to subtract
155.
the 74. What is 155 minus 74? 81. Yeah,
80.
81. Right?
Oh.
Yep. 5 minus 4 is just 1. Then we need to decide if this 81 is negative or positive. So we need to look at our 155 because that's the bigger number. Is 155 negative or positive? Negative. So that makes our answer
Negative. Positive.
negative.
Negative.
There we go. That is our thing for the day. Now, if you look at this, there's a couple other things. Do not turn this in. We are going to look at it tomorrow and talk about subtracting. But if you were to scroll through some other ones, if you look at slide number 9, there are some videos if you're confused. We're not going to watch them right now. Maybe tomorrow we'll watch a couple. So there's some videos if you think some videos might help you. Slide number 10 has some practice with adding and subtracting. So does slide number 11. But I would maybe try those tomorrow instead of today because it does throw in some subtraction ones that we haven't gone over yet. You might be able to do slide number 10. We have talked about adding with both types of signs. So you can try number 10 just as some extra practice. I'm not going to say that you have to go do slide number 10, but it would be good practice if you want to practice a little bit more. Slide number 11 you can look at tomorrow. But what's up? Just looking? All right. So for now, I would suggest leaving open your notes right here so that you can look at slide number 2 and slide number 3, because on Google Classroom, while we were doing that, there were 2 assignments posted. The first one is adding integers with the same sign. The second one is adding integers with a different sign. Okay? Both of them are 6 questions each, so overall you have 12 questions that you need to do. For those of you online, you got about 15 minutes until these guys have to go to lunch. So that means you guys also have about 15 minutes right now. But I'd like you guys to stay on and work on these 2 assignments. If you finish them, cool, you can head out if you're online. But I'd like you to work on the 2 assignments. The first one, adding with the same sign, you have 6 problems to do. Okay, adding with different signs.
Are they for grade?
Yeah, they're for a grade, so take your time, do your best. Okay? So go ahead and work on those. Got about 15 minutes or so. Yeah, ask questions if you need me to, if you need help.